So I chose a patient case with Mrs. Martin, home health PT evaluation. This is a patient suffered a left transtibial amputation with previous medical history of multiple things such as being diabetic, hypotensive, dyslipidemia, peripheral neuropathy, retinopathy, GERD, degenerative joint disease, bilateral knees, hips, and spine, obesity, and they also have had a previous left foot amputation. Patient is not fully cooperative with their self-care and reports having difficulty managing their diabetes. She also lives with her boyfriend, and the boyfriend essentially doesn't want her spending money on healthy foods and restricts her on just that aspect of her health. Their house is not fully accessible, with safety being a big concern from both for both her and her boyfriend. She's looking to eventually have a left lower extremity prosthesis, but doesn't show any motivation to care for herself, so that's up in the air. And then she also reports having possible depression. So some of the personal factors Mrs. Martin has is not having self-care for her previous or current medical history. She is not motivated and seems to just accept what is going on without worries. Some of the environmental factors include her home not being accessible to her needs, the hallways, doorways not being wide enough for her wheelchair, and restrictions on the walls in the bathroom for like grab bars and stuff. Some psychosocial factors include her lack of motivation, unhealthy habits from her boyfriend, and her mental health with possible depression as well. Some socioeconomic factors are boyfriend not letting her spend money on healthy food and not upgrading their home to be accessible for her needs and for her safety. A personal bias from healthcare provider could be seeing the patient have an unsupportive boyfriend that does not let her spend money on healthy food and pretty much just restricts her from advancing in her health needs and stuff like that. Right? So something that the therapist could try to do is encourage the boyfriend and patient to come together to start living a healthier life, and attempt to encourage him to make their home more accessible for her, to be able to ambulate throughout their home. So that's something that a physical therapist assistant can manage their personal bias to limit its impact on the patient. So an appropriate strategy the physical therapist assistant can use to enhance patient outcomes and limit barriers could be to use is explaining the importance of self-care, encouraging her that caring for herself will only make her life easier in the long run and allow her to just be able to ambulate a lot more thoroughly throughout her home, right, and just safer. That self-care will eventually lead to happiness, and the happiness will allow there to be life changes that will eventually better her lifestyle and her overall mental health as well. So a recommendation to optimize the patient safety and accessibility in the home and the community environment could be to continue to work on balance, strength, and home exercise programs to gain confidence to eventually be more mobile and allow there to be safety. Safety independently without relying on her boyfriend. Right? And one local community resource that we could recommend to the patient and to the patient's family could just be to she already attends groups that support groups for amputees, so she could continue to do that to see perspectives of what others are going through, and that will allow her to see how they go about their activities of daily living and potentially motivate her as well. Informing the boyfriend about possible groups or meetings that they could both attend will provide them both an outside source or motivation to just get better overall.